Hi, boys and girls. I'm Miss Bev. I'm your new Bible class teacher at Kelly Spring Road. You're kindergartners now, and I'm so excited for you. I'm excited that you're moving up to my class. This is a great class. We have lots of fun in here, and I want to tell you a little bit about it, okay? We have memory verses in here. I think you may have had a memory verse in your class before you came up in here. But we're going to have a memory verse in here, and if you'll look behind me, see if I can point to it. This is your memory verse over here, and then we're going to be learning the books of the New Testament. I bet most of you already know the books of the New Testament, don't you? So that will be easy for you, but we're going to have a new memory verse that we're going to learn, and it's going to be about Jesus. We're going to start studying about Jesus right now in this class. And we'll study about Jesus for several weeks, okay? But your two memory verses or your two pieces of memory work that you're going to be learning in class are Matthew 1:21, and it says, "And she shall bring forth a son, and you shall call his name Jesus, for he shall save his people from their sins." And that's in Matthew 1:21, and be sure to get mom and dad to help you learn that. You have a little card that is in your notebook for you to learn that with, okay? You can stick that on the refrigerator and it'll help you remember to learn it. And the second thing, like I said, that we're going to be learning for the time being are the books of the New Testament. And you probably already know them. You may know the song that goes, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, Acts and the letter to the Romans, 1st and 2nd Corinthians, Galatians and Ephesians. And that's where we're going to stop. We're going to stop right there for now. You probably know it all the way, but everyone may not know it. So we're just going to go to Ephesians for right now, okay? So be working on that at home. Let mom or dad help you learn your books of the New Testament up to Ephesians for now. And if you want to sing the song, that's perfectly fine. You can learn it that way because that's how Miss Bev learned it. And another thing that we do in this class is we have something called a word wall. Do you see this blue chart back behind me? Those gold letters across the top? It says word wall. And that's just going to be a place where we put some words, like I'll show you one of them right here. We're going to put some words up there, and we're going to talk about what they mean. Some words that you may not really know. You may have heard them before, but you may not really know the meaning of them. So we're going to put them on the word wall, and we're going to talk about the meanings of them as we come to them in our lessons, okay? So, one other thing we're going to be doing to start with in class, you have one of these little flip books in your notebook that Miss Bev sent home with you or sent to you, and mom or dad picked it up in the lobby at the church building. This is called Books of the New Testament. And this little flip book is going to help us learn some things about the New Testament books, okay? So if you have mom or dad help you get it on the very first front page, it says Books of the New Testament, and you turn one page, and I tell you the easiest way for you to do that is for you to lay it down on the table in front of you, and you have Books of the New Testament just like that, and you turn one page, and the first thing it says, 27 books in all. Did you know that there are 27 books in the New Testament? You know the books that we're learning to sing, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. There are 27 of those books in the New Testament. So we know there are how many books in the New Testament? How many? 27. That's right. And what else do we know about it? We know that there are 8 authors of the New Testament books. Let me see. Have you heard that word author before? Do you know what an author is? You might know an author is somebody that writes something, okay? So there are 8 different men that wrote all the books in the New Testament. So we know, what do we know about the New Testament? We know there are 27 books in all, and we know that there are how many authors? 8. That's right. There are 8 authors. And the first 4 books of the New Testament, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, they are called the Gospels. Okay? The first 4 books of the New Testament are called what? They're called the Gospels. So those are the 3 things that we're going to learn about the New Testament today. There are 27 books. There are how many authors? 8 authors. And the first 4 books, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, are called the Gospels. Right, good job. Okay, so we will go over this just about every class, and we'll learn more about the New Testament books, okay? So for today, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be talking about a man whose name is John the Baptist. Have you ever heard of that name before? You ever heard of John the Baptist? Is John the Baptist in the Old Testament, or is John the Baptist in the New Testament? Remember, we're talking about the New Testament books right now. So John the Baptist is in the New Testament. And we're going to learn a little bit about John the Baptist and his mommy and his daddy, and how important he was to Jesus. Okay, John the Baptist was a very, very important man in Jesus's life. So we're going to talk about that next time. But today we're gonna find out a little bit more about John the Baptist. Let me tell you about his daddy. Can you see that picture? Okay. John the Baptist's daddy's name was Zacharias. Oops, he wanted to fall on me. His name was Zacharias, and Zacharias was a priest. He was a Jewish priest. A priest worked in the temple, okay? And one of the things that Zacharias did was he burned incense in the temple. Let's see, I think that's one of our words for our word wall. Let me get that down. Look right here. This word says incense. And do you see Zacharias? Do you see that fire down there? The bowl that he's got some fire in. He's burning something called incense. Okay? Let me lay this down and let's put our word up on our word wall. And incense were just spices that were burned to make a really good smell. Okay? This is our definition. This is our word, incense, and this is what it means. Spices that were burned to make a really sweet or a good smell. So let me put it up here on our word wall. This is our word, incense. And right beside it, we're going to put what it means. Spices that were burned to make a sweet smell. Okay? So that's what incense does. And who was that was burning incense in the temple? Do you remember his name? What was his name? Zacharias. That's right. He was a priest. So he was burning incense in the temple, and he was old. Does he look kind of old to you in this picture? He looks a little bit old to me in this picture. He was kind of old. He didn't have any children. He was old and he didn't have any children, and he was a Jewish priest, okay? He loved God and he obeyed God's laws. And then we're going to talk about this woman right here. Let's see if I can show you her picture. Her name is Elizabeth. And Elizabeth and Zacharias were married. They were husband and wife, okay? Just like your mommy and daddy are husband and wife. And she was old too. Does she look kind of old to you in this picture? She does to me. Looks a little bit old. They didn't have any children, remember? And she was related to somebody whose name was Mary. Does anybody know who Mary was in the New Testament? Would Mary have been Jesus' mommy? Yeah, Mary was Jesus' mommy. And Elizabeth was related to Mary, okay? So Zacharias is in the temple and he's doing his job as a priest. And his job was to go into the inner part of the temple and to burn incense. Remember, that's our word up there on the word wall. And while he was there was a crowd out in the court, temple court, praying, while Zacharias was inside burning incense in the temple. And an angel appeared to Zacharias and kind of scared Zacharias to start with. Would it scare you? Would it make you kind of afraid a little bit if an angel just appeared to you? Do you know what an angel is? I think that's one of our words for our word wall. It is, right here. Angel. That word says angel, okay? And an angel is a messenger of God. So if the angel appeared to Zacharias, who sent the angel? Who sent him? God. God sent the angel to appear to Zacharias. Let's put it up here on our word wall. Okay, let's go back here. So angel is our word, and it means messenger of who? Messenger of God. That's right. Angel is a messenger of God. So the angel appeared to Zacharias while he was there, and he was afraid. And you know what the angel said? The angel's name was Gabriel, as a matter of fact. We have somebody in our Bible class whose name is Gabriel. Do y'all know your friend Gabriel? Yeah. Well, the angel's name was Gabriel. And the angel said to Zacharias, don't be afraid, Zacharias. Don't be afraid. God has heard your prayer. And he tells Zacharias, he says, Zacharias, you're going to have a son. Remember, I told you that they were old and they didn't have any children. Well, the angel says, Zacharias, you're going to have a son. And he says, your son will be a great man of God. He's going to be really important to God. But he says he must never drink any strong drink or wine. And he will help many people, many Jews follow God. And he's going to help people get ready for Jesus to come. Do you see how special this man's going to be that's going to be born to Zacharias and Elizabeth? He's going to help people get ready for Jesus. Isn't that special? And Zacharias just cannot believe it. He just absolutely cannot believe it. He just says, me and Elizabeth are too old to have children. That's just not possible. We are so old, we cannot have children. And you know what? Because he didn't believe God, because remember who sent the angel? Remember who sent the angel? God sent the angel. And because Zacharias did not believe the angel, God punished Zacharias. Does anybody know how God punished Zacharias? Does anybody know? Let me give you a hint. It has to do with his mouth. It has to do with what happens when we open our mouth. What do we do with our mouth? We talk, don't we? Well, God punished Zacharias by making it so he could not speak. He could not talk until the baby was born because he didn't believe God. He didn't trust God, and so God punished him. And so you know what? I'm going to show you this picture. Do you see this picture? This is Zacharias over here, and this is Elizabeth, and this is the new baby that was born, and that baby's name is John. The baby's name is John. He's born, and his name is John, and you know what? Zacharias, can you tell on this picture? Let me see. Can you tell that Zacharias is holding something in his hand? It's like a little tablet. He's holding something in his hand, and he's holding something to write with. Something kind of like we would use a pencil to write with. He's holding something to write with. And you know what he wrote on that tablet? He wrote, his name is John. That's what he was supposed to write. That's what the baby's name was supposed to be, was John. And so that's what he's writing on the tablet. And do you know what happened when he wrote that? When he wrote his name is John on the tablet, do you know what happened? He could talk again. He could speak again. His voice was not gone any longer. He could speak again. Isn't that awesome? Yeah, God punished him because he did not trust God and he did not believe God. But God gave him his voice back after the baby was born. And Zechariah wrote, his name is John. So I have something for you to do. Mommy and Daddy may have to help you get this out if you can't find it. You have a paper that looks just like this. It's a picture of Zacharias and Elizabeth and the baby. And it's a picture of Zacharias writing something on a tablet. Can you find that paper? Find that paper and put it in front of you on the table and get your pencil box. Get your pencil box. And you can get either a crayon or you can get a marker if you want to use a marker. That would be fine. And I'll wait just a minute while you open up your pencil box and you get a crayon or a marker. We're gonna trace something on here, okay? Okay. It says, when Zacharias and Elizabeth were very old, Gabriel, the angel, told Zacharias that he and Elizabeth would have a son. When he did not believe the angel, God punished Zacharias. Remember me telling you about that? He could not speak at all until after the baby was born. It was then that Zacharias was able to speak again. Trace the red letters below with a blue or black crayon. But you can use whatever color you have. If you've got another color, that's fine. This is the name that Zacharias called the new baby boy. Do you remember what Zacharias wrote down that the new baby would be called? Do you remember his name? Zacharias wrote on that tablet, his name is John. So I'm going to take my marker and I'm going to trace over those letters. Those letters, J-O-H-N, spell John. Do you see how I traced over John? Yeah, just like that. Okay, when you finish doing that, take it and lay it over to the side. And I want you to pick up the paper that looks like this. You see that paper? It's got some smiley faces at the top. I want you to pick up that paper. Put it in front of you. If you know how to write your name, can you write your name at the top of that paper? I'm going to show you how I will write my name across the top of the paper. Let's see if I can do it upside down. I'm going to write Mrs. Bev, because that's my name. I think most of you probably already knew my name. Do you see how I wrote my name at the top? Can you do that with your paper? Write your name across the top so you won't get them confused with your brother's or sister's papers that they might be working on for Bible class too, okay? All right, so on this paper, it says to put a smiley face. Do you see that smiley face? Put a smiley face on the line if the sentence is true, but put a sad face if the sentence is not true. So I want you to put your pencil or your marker on number 1. I'm going to use a pencil, I think, because it will be easier for me to use a pencil on this one. So put your pencil on number 1. And it says, John the Baptist's father was named Adam. Wait, was John's father named Adam? Did we talk about Adam in Bible class today? No. So that's a sad face. We're going to put a sad face right there, okay? Can you draw a sad face? I'm going to draw a sad face, just like that. I didn't do a very good sad face, but you can see it. Okay? So you draw a sad face on number 1. Now put your pencil on number 2. Number 2. And it says, Zachariah's job was that of being a Jewish priest. Zachariah's job was that of being a Jewish priest. Is that right? Yeah, it is, isn't it? Zachariah's job was being a Jewish priest. So I'm going to put a happy face on this one. And Mom and Dad, if you will notice, Mom or Dad, that should be Zacharias, number 2, instead of Zechariah. I think I did that all the way through here. I think. I'll have to go back and check, but I believe I did. It should be Zacharias. Number 3. Put your pencil on number 3. Zacharias and Elizabeth were very old when the angel Gabriel told Zechariah that he would have a son. Were they old? Did we talk about them being old? We did, didn't we? So I'm going to put a happy face on number 3 because that's true. Can you see my happy face on number 3? So remember, that's true. So we're going to put a happy face there. Okay, put your pencil on number 4. The angel Gabriel appeared to Zacharias while he was sleeping. Was he sleeping? Was Zacharias sleeping when the angel Gabriel appeared to him? I don't think so. Remember, what was he doing? He was burning some incense. Do you remember that? So that's not true. That's a sad face. So let's put a sad face on number 4. Let's put a sad face on number 4. Do you see how I put a sad face on my number 4? Okay. Number 5. Zacharias was told by the angel that he and his wife would have a daughter. A daughter? Do you remember that in the lesson? We didn't talk about a daughter, did we? We talked about a son. They were going to have a son. So that's not true. We need to put a sad face on number 5. That is not true. Okay, do you see my sad face on number 5? Okay. Number 6, pencil on number 6. Because he did not believe what the angel said, Zacharias was told he would not be able to see until after the baby was born. That he couldn't see? Was he told? Was that the way he was punished? That he could not see until after the baby? That's not right, is it? What was he told? That he would not be able to talk. He would not be able to talk until after the baby was born. So that's another sad face. That was not true. So let's put a sad face on number 6. Number 7. A baby boy was born to Elizabeth and Zechariah. Is that correct? That is correct, isn't it? A baby boy was born to Elizabeth and Zechariah. So we want to put a happy face on number 7. Put a happy face on number 7. And number 8, Zechariah let everyone know the baby's name by writing it on a tablet. Is that how he let everybody know the baby's name? Remember, we said he wrote on the tablet, his name is John. That's right, yes. So that is a happy face. Okay, that's all of those questions. So when you finish that, I want you to lay that paper with your other paper. Okay, we have one more paper today. I'm going to show you. Do you see this paper right here? You have one just like this, okay, in your notebook. Miss Bev gave you 2 notebooks. You have one notebook that has lots and lots of papers in it. And then you have one notebook that doesn't have hardly any papers in it. That one's called your lesson sheet notebook, okay? And every time we come to Bible class, or every time we have Bible class, just about every time, you're going to put a paper in that lesson sheet notebook. And it's just going to be a story about the lesson that we had for that day. So this is the first paper that you're going to put in your lesson sheet notebook, okay? So have Mom and Dad help you find your lesson sheet notebook, and this goes in your lesson sheet notebook, okay? And while you're doing that, I'm going to read this to you, or just wait and do that after I read this to you. This is our lesson for our story for our lesson today. Zacharias was a priest. He and his wife Elizabeth were very old and had no children. Do you remember that? An angel named Gabriel told Zacharias that he and Elizabeth would have a son named John. Gabriel said that the baby would be a great man for God, and the baby would be and would help get the people ready for Christ to come, for Jesus to come. Zacharias did not believe Gabriel. You remember that? He didn't believe him, did he, to start with? Because of his unbelief, Zacharias was told that he would not be able to speak until after the baby was born. After the baby, John, was born, Zacharias was able to speak again. So you see that picture? That's my picture. Okay? Okay. All right, guys. I have enjoyed talking to you today. I hope that you have a really good day, and I hope you love Bible class. Miss Beth's going to be doing these lessons for you, okay? And so when it's time for your Bible class lesson, get your notebooks out and be sure to have your pencil box out. And you have another little booklet in your tote bag that Mom and Dad have. That's a black and white book, notebook kind of, that only has paper in it with lines on it. It only has paper. It's a black and white, it's called a composition book. It just has paper in it. What I want you to do with that is I want Mom or Dad to write lesson 105, John the Baptist is born, at the top of the page, and the date. The date would be July 26th, 2020. And on that page, Miss Bev wants you to draw a picture of the lesson from today, okay? Whatever you remember about the lesson. Do you remember about Zacharias being a priest in the temple? And what was he doing when he was in the temple? He was burning incense, that's right. And do you remember his wife, what her name was? Her name was Elizabeth. And she was kind of old, wasn't she? You might want to color some gray hair on her. Remember the picture that we had Zacharias with a beard? Do you remember that? And then they had a baby, and that baby was a boy, and the baby boy's name was John. That's right. So I want you to draw a picture, and if Mom or Dad will take a picture of the picture that you draw and send it to Miss Bev, I will share that at our next Bible class, okay? I'll share that with everybody. I would like to see those pictures. But I hope y'all have a great day, okay? I've enjoyed talking to you. Can't wait to see you next time.